So welcome back on this 2006 Nissan Sentra. Got on the Facebook Marketplace for $2,300 and pretty much a fair deal. And I talked about in the previous video, good tires, battery, alternator, runs really good. Now I've been driving this thing for a week and I haven't had too many issues. Only thing is brakes. Front rotors are warped, brakes feel a little crunchy, especially in the back. When you hit the brakes you hear a little grinding noise. It's due for a tune-up. We got a bunch of other stuff which we'll do in a separate video, but in today's video we're going to do in the front, rear brakes, and any other little knickknacks that we might find along the way. So let's get started. So now I'm going to go ahead and remove the tire. This is going to be a 21, but this is the perfect time to actually check suspension stuff, tire rods, ball joints, see if you got any play in the wheels. I've already done that, but you know, rock it side to side, up and down, and I'll kind of give you an idea. Just because it doesn't have a play doesn't mean it's bad. Boots could be broken. In this case, we do have that issue, but we're going to be addressing that later on. So taking a look, the rotors are warped. And you can feel it pulsating while driving. We could go ahead and just get these cut, but this is going to be my daily driver, point A to point B, and I do want to make sure that I could get it back to point A and stop in between. So I'm going to pop in new rotors. The pads, I don't know if they were just pad slappers on it, but brakes don't feel as good as they should. Now, taking a look over here, just kind of doing a rough inspection. Tire rods don't look too bad. Maybe it was replaced. I don't know if Nissan had the grease fittings, but nothing else looks too bad. I do got some creaks in the front, which might be bushings, maybe time for new control arms and maybe struts, but like I said, something to deal with later. So let's get this off. This is probably either 12 or 14. So let's get started there. Now these pads look brand new, so good to keep as spares, but yeah, let's just put new stuff in here. Now these are 17, they're a little tight. Put a little meat into it. When you struggle, use more power. Now let's give this thing a little bath. This same thing, just using a wire brush just to break off the chunks and all the goodness. Make sure it don't damage the boot. Definitely don't want to do that. Well, like any project, things escalated. So while I was here, I decided to take off the fender liner. It's pretty simple, just a couple of screws here and those tabs. This tool is a must. I mean, pulls those tabs, which, do I have one around here? I hope so. These right here, pulls them out really well. And this is why. This mess right over here, this will rot your vehicle, cause just a couple of issues here and there. So I'm gonna get this out, vacuum this, and as you can see, it just started pouring out. And definitely want to do it to the other side. Planning on removing the front bumper primarily so I could, honestly, nothing important, but just kind of doing a little detailing on some, you know, crusty spots over here. So keep working on this. We'll get to the other side and I'll take you along with it. So to kind of show you, so if I get the lights, this one, let me get the tools out of here. Yeah, that's even worse. I mean, just look at that chunk of all that stuff. Some vehicles, when this gets clogged, water actually leaks inside. It's one of those things like while you're here, you know. And of course I'll have to get the vacuum, scoop all this out. But yeah. And the fender liner was real easy to take apart, primarily because they didn't have the screws or tabs that they need to put in. So, you know, that was pretty awesome. And finish up taking out the bumper. Got this one screw over here and I should be able to slide it out. And then we'll kind of give this thing a little makeover. Took out the brakes. I mean, same thing as before. This one was stuck. I had to bang it pretty good to get it out, but thankfully, no casualties. So let's keep getting this stuff cleaned out. Oh, got the bumper removed. Actually pretty easy. Forgot little screws, the Phillips screws right in the bottom. But the real reason, and I know it's kind of dumb, but you know, OCD, I guess, I want to do it because of this crust over here. I mean, you actually see it when you look through it. So I want to just kind of sand this up and just give it a nice quick spray paint. That would look a lot better. Not going for SEMA quality, but just better than it was. And then it kind of gives me an idea also too, and if the vehicle was involved in an accident, which this was not. I could tell somebody was here because you could kind of see some, you know, things that were left out. But overall, not too bad. Now, as far as the brakes, went ahead and kind of cleaned everything up over here. Looks a lot better. Painted the calipers and got this all squared away, so looks good. Got that clean, and yeah, show finished. So let's go ahead, scrub that. I'll probably take a wire wheel to it, break off some of the loose corrosion, and make it look better. Now to clean it up, this paint rust reformer works really good. Now I've kind of scuffed up and gotten the loose edges of the rust. This should work pretty good, and then we could paint over it. I usually don't, we'll see, but at least we can make this a lot better. All right, looks a lot better. I think I could sleep at night with this. So I did a bunch of work off camera. Got it spray painted, looks pretty good, and I'll probably be able to show you that once we're outside, but for the most part, looks really good down there. Key thing I found was that I guess somebody took off this bumper and these inserts. Well, good thing I had that kit. I bought that kit for like $10 on Amazon, so it came in handy. I was able to put this in, and the bumper feels really good. It's very loose before, so glad I did that. So now I'm gonna go ahead and finish up this side. I've already done the other side, so let's get working on this. So the caliper bracket, I'm actually gonna reuse the hardware. So in the kit I bought, it had new hardware, but it was really tight. And I'm actually gonna reuse these pads because they're brand new and they have something that the new ones don't. And this is the issue where you run into aftermarket brands. Get this off. If you look right over here, you see you got the hole there and there, and they have the pad separator pins or whatever you call them, and I want to make sure I have that. So pads look brand new. I'll keep the other ones for a rainy day
because I bought this as a kit. It's from Power Stop, so I'm a little disappointed in that, but you know, it's one of those things where they make one application that applies to multiple vehicles, and well, yeah, that's the suck part about it. So now for this part over here, typically I just take a wire brush and just scrub this out, just kind of break off anything. If it was a lot more rust or a lot more junk in here, I'd probably do something a little aggressive, but wire brush works really good. Clean this up. I'll put a little bit of that brake lube stuff on it, and this will be fine. Now these pins, they feel good, they're not seized. And I'm just gonna take them out, clean out the junk, and put new stuff on it. Just put a little lube right up here to make sure that it don't get stuck later. Let's just spray a little curl on these bolts so they go in a lot smoother. Just pop that in, just like so. Let's get one started. Now I gotta bring in the calipers. Got this cool little tool, courtesy of my neighbor. Pretty awesome dude. And we could pop these in and bring it back. So let me retract this. I'm doing it just one-handed. The caliper moves in slow and smooth, so this tells me the caliper is good. If the caliper was stuck, I'd replace it, but this thing moves good, and I'm happy with it. Now I'm just gonna put this top bolt on, and I'll show you why in just a sec. And that's to put these clips on. And this is the reason why I'm using these pads. If these pads were old and worn out, I probably would have used the other ones, but they look brand new. They have provisions for this, and if that's what the manufacturer wanted, that's what they're gonna get. Well, that's what I'm gonna do. And then what you kind of do over here is just hold it like this. Make sure these are all the way in, and just slide it over just like so. Everybody's happy. Beautiful. So
I went ahead and just sprayed this with some liner just to kind of make it look a lot better. Spray painted the caliper. Forgot to do this, but it'll be fine. I'll probably be able to just get some squirts without getting the rotor. So this looks pretty good. Very happy with it. Now let's move on to the rear. All right, so now we're on to the rear. These drums, and you can usually tell by this color, they've probably never been changed. So yeah. Now typically with these, when you see the screws over here, you just need to find one that screws into it. I'm going to use these, which are probably not recommended. I don't know what the thread pitch size is, but there's the only thing I have in my collection that would fit. Typically you want a regular bolt, but this might work. And what this will do is this will pop it off, just like so. And you want to have the matching set. These are actually for a TV. Perfect. Now let's take a look. It's a bit grindy, so let's just kind of wash it down. Now, I don't know if I have the special tools for these. Long time ago I did. Let's double check and see what I got. Now, hopefully this tool works. It does. Nice. That's one. Go for two on the other side. Well, that was pretty easy. In the sense that, well, now I have my diagram a lot better. And all this stuff over here is, these wheel cylinders look like junk. So, let's see if I can get you one right over here. And granted, I did douche them down with the brake part cleaners, but they're so rusty and crusty. Man. Well. Oh, they're leaking. Look at that. Yeah, we need some new ones. Well, I knew I should have ordered them. I think it's time to go to the parts store. Well, back from the O'Reilly's, $60 later, because they're very proud. So, they're very proud. So I already went ahead, soaked it with some Kroil, got it loose, and also did with the other side. I haven't loosened the other side, but, you know, at least it's soaked. It's good that this thing is twisting and coming out loosely, because I really don't want to fight with this. Alright. Now these are 8s. I guess I already broke them loose.
thing getting stuck. All right, let's get this in. That's working as it should. So now we're gonna tighten this. This, of course, is a totally different size. Nope, this one I don't have. How do I not have an 8 in a flare wrench? Now this, I'll just open it up. That way it can start gravity bleeding. Now let's put a little anti-seize on the moving surfaces, like here. I think there's 3 on each side. It's probably the only time I ever really use anti-seize, now I think about it. Now for our shoes, I'm just gonna match it up just like how they have it. Now we need to get all this stuff out, so what is holding this together besides all this spring tension? Alright, got that pulled out just like so. We're just gonna pop that in there just so we know where it goes. That's gonna come out just like that. Let's get this adjuster cleaned up. Put a little anti-seize on the threads. Now the little horseshoe, I wish I would have gotten the hardware now that I think about it, but you know, that just makes sense. So I had to spend a bit of time off camera, primarily because this adjuster was seized. But we got it unseized. And we should be good. I was putting it together and didn't make no sense. But now I see. So that's probably why my brakes didn't feel all that good. But we're gonna put a little bit of anti-seize on it just to make sure that don't happen again. And that should be. Now we gotta get this spring in, which of course, you know, is sketchy and fun, but we'll get it. I always find that a vice grip works really well sometimes, because I don't seem to have the right tool for it today, or ever. That worked out really good. Yeah. All right. Put the drums on, bleed it, and we're done.
All right, so it's actually the next day. It got late, and recording in the garage, there's not enough light, and I don't have enough extra light to kind of, you know, help with the recording. But brakes are done. Rear drums, pretty easy, pretty simple. I did run into a problem where the adjuster was seized, and we had to unseize that by just kind of heating up the little metal adjuster. Once we did that, I was able to adjust the brakes. But after where we left off in the last clip, all I need to do is just pop on the drums, adjust it, we're good to go. And I just went ahead and painted them because, well, you know, show quality. And it just looks a lot better. I can't stand when these things just get all rusted. It looks really tacky. So it actually worked out pretty good. And the front, not bad. The only thing I will say is, if you're gonna buy the Power Stop kit for this car, it's really dumb because they give you the pad separator clips, the little V clips, but the pads don't have the little holes in it to put them in. So luckily the old pads were like brand new. I reused the old pads because, I mean, I think probably, I don't know, maybe a couple of 100 miles on it. Popped those in, used the hardware that came with Power Stop and the rotors, and the car stops great. Now, as a preventative maintenance, I went ahead and bled all four wheels just to get that old fluid out. And, you know, you don't want that old fluid in there. It just causes problems later on. But overall, brakes, all four on this car, pretty good. Very happy with it, and the car should stop a lot better. So stay tuned, as I got a few other things to tidy up. And once we're done with that, I'll go ahead and take it for a test drive and see how well this car works. So thanks for watching.